Hello everyone, it's Yao Raushan together with Rish Roshan Rai. Welcome along to another episode of the Rated RR podcast. And today we've got not one, but two guests on our show. And mind you, they are two former Young Players of the Year in 2019 and 2020 respectively. Hami Syahin, Saifullah Akbar, thank you so much for joining us on today's show. There's so much to get stuck into with the both of you, but I just want to start on the recently concluded Game Week 17 matches. Saifullah, will start with you. 1-1 against Hougang United. Must have felt like 2 points drop considering how much dominance the Lion City Sailors had.
Firstly, thank you guys for having us on the show. Yeah, but like you said, it was a points drop for us, and obviously it was very disappointing for us because we are chasing for the title. So it's going to be another tough game, tough 5 games coming up. So we are not we cannot afford to lose any more points. But it wasn't an easy game against Hougang. I think credit to them, they had a game plan also to not let us score as many goals as we want and win the game. So it was a really tough game, but we were all very disappointed with the result. Yeah.
Hami, just coming to you now. Before I ask you about your team, how's the injury? I know you are out injured, went for surgery. How's the recovery coming along, bro?
Hi guys. Same goes to me. Thank you for having me on the show. First and foremost, I think my recovery is doing well. Everything is on the right track, and right now it's good to say that I can finally start walking. Yep.
Perfect. That's positive news. Speaking of positive news, Young Lions 3-2 winners against Geylang International. I want to talk about the result, but more importantly, I want to talk about what went on post-match, because there seemed to be a lot of tension between the players and the fans. Hami, you're confirmed in some chat group with the boys. What actually happened? Can you tell us why was there so much tension? Raihan's name has been mentioned. We saw Ilhan celebrate like that. So tell us what went on, man.
I think about Raihan, I'm not too sure about him, but I think it's all in the game. It's just emotions in the game, and he got carried away with it. But with this kind of experience, he will learn through it. And about Ilhan, I think there's been some rumors going on saying that he can't score, he can't play as a striker. So that that celebration is common to like basically shut out all the haters. Yep.
Yeah. Look, I think it's brilliant. Singapore football can use more of this. It's like it's creating characters in the game, and if fans are going to give players a bit of stick, I don't see anything wrong with players responding in a certain way, as long as it doesn't go overboard. I don't think it went overboard. If anything, probably some of the abuse some players get from the fans actually goes overboard a little bit. But look, as a viewer, me watching, I don't mind it at all. And I have to say, guys, thank you very much for being on here. I'm a big fan of both of you. Not just saying that because you're on the show, but I don't know if you've heard me on commentary, and previously we've spoken about both of you guys. It's just been wonderful to see such talented young players coming through, and not just talented, but you guys work incredibly hard. And I've seen a little bit of this, like a little bit of, I'm going to use this word, bastardness a little bit in the play, in the sense that you're willing to give as good as you get at times, and you're not really overawed, which I think is brilliant. But look, Hami, I want to ask you now about your career with the Young Lions, and you're still very young, but you're almost like a veteran. I think you're coming to like 100 games in the Singapore League, and a lot of that has been because of your start with the Young Lions. Do you think that you would have had that sort of opportunity to have as many games as you've had if you were at another club, perhaps?
When you're graduating from the NFA system, you always look forward to play for the Young Lions because it's a stepping stone for us to play in the S League at that point of time. And I think it wasn't a wrong decision to play for the Young Lions because it kind of helped me to develop as a player, and also not to just go into the dead sea and try to basically survive on my own. With the Young Lions at that point of time, I managed to progress like stage by stage, I could say, and that kind of helped me to develop as a player.
Saifullah, I think the same for you, and you were with Tampines, then you moved to Young Lions, then now with the Lion City Sailors. But you had lots of game time and opportunities to develop with the Young Lions. Would you say that sort of helped you with your adjustment once you moved to the Sailors?
Yeah, I think it definitely did, because as a young player, you want to get as much playing time as possible. So like as Hami said, after the NFA, you either go to a Prime League or the Young Lions. But when I ended my NS, there wasn't any Prime League anymore. So there was only the Young Lions or the club football. So my immediate target was to have as much game time as possible, especially after not playing football for 2 years. So going to the Young Lions, I felt like it would give me a better chance to fight for a place and then get as much playing time as I could, which I did. So I'm like I said, it's a like Hami said also, it's a good progression and a good stepping stone for us young players to get playing time at the first team football at Young Lions. Yeah.
Now wait, Raushan, I know you're going to jump in with a question here, but since they both mentioned NFA, since they both mentioned the NFA, there was actually something that I wanted to ask you all about that. And at times, even when I was playing, there was this criticism about, players at NFA, if they come through NFA or sports school and things like that, they got looked upon more favorably, or there's like a shortcut towards the national team. What are your thoughts on that? Maybe Saifullah, we start with you, and then we'll hear from Hami.
I think that is an understatement, because most of the competition, like say for example the AFC under 18 or AFC under 16, most of the players come from outside. It's not from the sports school or from the NFA, like even the SEA Games, or you can see at the current under 22 squads, even most of them are from club football and not from the system itself. So I think like I say, it's an understatement for you to say that they overlook the players from club football and all that. So yeah, so I think, which is good, because the coaches don't really just focus on the players that they have. They go out to see matches from other clubs and all that to pick the players, the best that they can have. Yeah.
Hami, what do you think?
I think personally, there's a good mixture of sports school players and also the outside school, the mainstream schools, to combine to make up the NFA team. And from there, there's a fair chance for both players from sports school or either the mainstream school to represent the country at the age group, the respective age group. So I shouldn't say there's a easy way or shortcut to the national age group team.
A lot of talk about age group, a lot of talk about underage players or under 22, under 21, under 23. That's a big word in the Singapore Premier League. That rule has been spoken about a lot. Hami, you obviously broke into the team a long time ago, so I'm going to go to Saifullah for this question. Saifullah, what are your thoughts on the under 23 rule? And without the rule, do you think you would have made the impact that you had?
As Roshan always say, you put me in the spot right there.
Hey. Exactly, man. Be careful. You just ignore the first question, answer the second one.
For a reason, bro.
Saifullah, just to jump in, the sometimes the art of TV panditry is to answer by not answering the question. So something you might need to learn as your career progresses.
I might need to watch more of your videos to see how you handle this. But I mean, on a serious note, I feel like that's being I'm not I don't want to be biased, but if I'm from a neutral point of view, I think it can be good and bad at the same time. For example, I'll touch on the good. Like, even though with the under 23 players, I think most of the under 23 players grab the opportunity to show that they deserve, even though, because if you're an under 23 player and you're not playing well, I think every club would have taken you out at halftime, But instead, some clubs still kept you on, because they believe that you can do well and do the job for you even in the second half. So it shows that, as an under 23 player, you still have that quality to play in the SPL. But at the same time, I think it gives quite an issue for the senior players. You don't get as much playing time, and for the national team. So I think there's a good and bad. So I wouldn't say that it's good or it's bad. So there's a pros and cons to it. Yeah, but that's my view.
Yeah,
of
definitely.
It,
Roshan, he's definitely been watching your videos. That was a balanced answer. As far as I know, that was super balanced, bro. Well done.
Saifullah, you got a future in television, man.
Maybe.
Hami, you want to answer the question, or I give you a chance and move on?
Yeah.
Move on, is it? Okay. But we're gonna come to you, Hami, with the next question, and it's about the Young Lions, and a lot of people out there were saying lots of things, negative things about the young Lions at the start of the season. You guys were struggling with wins. There was lots of talk about too many young players getting thrown in too early. But recently, you guys have been on a bit of a resurgence. 3 wins in your last 5 matches, a draw when you came back into league action against Tanjung Pagar as well. Now, Philip has often spoken about trusting the process, and in the footballing world, this now is like a buzz word or buzz statement. Trust the process. Even Mesut Ozil talks about it with Arsenal. I want to ask you, Hami, trusting the process. What exactly does that mean? What is the process?
Basically, Coach Philip has already instilled this philosophy where it's we should play football from the back, play football on the ground and everything. And also we are trying to incorporate the national team philosophy into our game also. And it's not easy, for the boys 16 years old, 17 years old coming from the sports school. It's not easy for them to try to instill this kind of play. And as you can see at the start of the season, it's quite hard for us to get points and everything. But when we continue our second round, we finally managed to find the understanding between each other, which is to play football. And the most important thing is what Coach Philip said was to enjoy the beautiful game, and also to show Singapore how we want to play our football, how we want to have our own playing style, which is to play the passing football. And also the Jurgen Klopp style, which is to keep pressing, high press.
Yeah.
So that's the process we have been working on.
I mean, Ilhan's pressing game was excellent over the weekend, and I can see exactly what you mean. Hami, I want to stick with you and ask you, you had some time under Nazri Nasir and then now under Philip. What are the biggest differences? Because Philip seems like a guy who knows what to do with the kids. Back at Home United, he did the same. Now he's doing the same. So what's the biggest difference for you?
I could say, both coaches have helped me in terms of my own playing style. Like for Coach Nazri himself, he has been coaching me since when I was Sec 1, my NFA days. Yeah, so he as a coach has helped me in terms of my positional play, because I play centre mid and he also plays centre mid. So that's how I learned from him. And also as for Coach Philip, he kind of know how to gel up the team. And also he know how to make sure that everybody is on the same page, and he kind of guide every player to make sure that we are doing what he wants. Yep.
Saifullah, I'm back to you with a hopefully easier question, but it's a question about your playing. You've been fairly vocal about wanting to play abroad. I read some stuff about you having always the desire to go abroad and play. But for now, in the next few years at least, is the LCS project convincing enough for you to stay here and play a part in it? Or are you always at the back of your mind still looking, hopefully, for a move abroad?
I mean, always at the back of my mind, I'm looking to play abroad because I'm very excited of LCS project, obviously, because to be the biggest in Asia, it's like just like JDT, they want to be like JDT. So, but playing in the Singapore Premier League, nothing against this Premier League in Singapore, but I want to try to challenge myself and get out of my comfort zone, to go and challenge myself playing in Thailand or in hopefully in Japan or in Malaysia, for example. So it has always been at the back of my mind, but like you said, the project for the LCS is doing is very exciting. You never know, they might build their own stadium here in Singapore and that sort of thing, and you want to play in a big stadium with full crowd. So it's exciting, but I'm always looking to challenge myself, trying to play abroad. Yeah.
So Saifullah, I want to stay with you because I read something interesting. Before we came on the show to talk to you guys, and you mentioned during your time when you were training in France, you said that the place, it's so competitive there. The players train like they're going into a war. They're really fighting for their places. And actually, this is a question for both you guys, but we'll start with Saifullah first. Do you think that's something that's lacking in Singapore, that competitiveness within the team amongst players?
I think not in LCS currently, because we have such a big squad. But yeah, I mean, because they have in Europe, they have even at their age group level, there are so many players, you know. So as for me as an outsider that comes, they will automatically judge you, you know, who is this guy? They just want to pull you out, get you injured, and then not train, you know, because you're taking their spot, you know, their even their local sport. So they have so many players that the coach has to choose from. So every one of them really pushes hard every training. Whereby in Singapore, I don't think so. We have that much pool of players. So like we tend to maybe take a foot off the pedal sometimes at some trainings and all that. But one thing good about LCS is that like we have such a big squad. So every training, everyone is pushing each other. Especially when now that Coach Kim comes, is very much more demanding than Coach VD was demanding too. But I think this Coach Kim is even more demanding. So everyone is pushing every training, you know, because you know that. Even for me as an under 23 players, I have a quality under 23 players like Anik, like Glenn. So they are always at the back of my back of me, trying to push me. So I always try not to take a foot off my pedal. I try to push myself, maintain my spot. So that's one thing good about being in LCS currently, because everyone pushes each other. So which is good, yeah.
Hami, what about you? What do you think, and how do you drive yourself to be the best that you can possibly be?
Actually same like Saifullah, because at that point of time I had a training stint also with the Eintracht Frankfurt and also FC Metz. And apparently I talked to this one of the player in Germany. He said, because he came from a different country, so he said he came from a hard family, not poor family basically. So this is the one that drive him to be the best, to make sure that he get his living from football. So that kind of make me realize that we in Singapore, we already have everything. So that's the main difference that is pushing those players to make sure that they get a proper career in football, you know. So that kind of motivates me to be a better player, because me myself, I came from a single parent family. So I always want to make my family proud, my mom proud. So I always try to do my best in football to make sure that I make my mom's dream come true, which is to play for the national team. Yep.
Wow,
Definitely,
I don't know, man. Seriously, you're giving me goosebumps, man.
Goosebumps,
Yes.
Yeah, seriously, brilliant.
Turn up my aircon now.
No, guys, considering both your ages and playing positions, you guys are going to make your families and possibly Singapore proud for a long, long time, because you guys might be the first choice centre midfield pairing for Singapore and for Lion City Sailors. How excited are you by that prospect of playing together for both your club and national team?
Who?
Saifullah?
I forgot. I mean, it's always nice to play. I haven't really got the chance to play with Hami as often as I would like to, because every time we are playing against each other. I don't know why, but at that one point when the last national team, we were in the same same call out, obviously. So I mean, because I think we have that understanding that we don't have to talk to each other. We understand where we will be. You know, I when I get the ball, I would know Hami would be here. I would be here. So we have that understanding of our football brains are on the same level. So it's easier for me especially, to play with Hami, because I don't need to even communicate verbally to ask him to shift here or shift there or whatever, because he knows what our mindset are the same. So it's easier for me. Yeah.
Hami?
As for me personally, I know, like, basically me and Saifullah have our own strength and weaknesses. So playing with Saifullah, first time I played with Saifullah was during the SEA Games Philippines, which is 2019. Basically his strengths are covering my weaknesses and my strengths are covering his weaknesses. And also, like what he said, we have that chemistry, I could say. Like, I know where he's gonna run, where I should pass to him, And that short stint, like that in 2019, it kind of made me look forward. I want to play with Saifullah, honestly, because we have the same playing style, which is to play like short passes and everything. So I'm kind of looking forward to play with him Probably next year, hopefully.
I think you guys should watch the game we played against Brunei in the SEA Games, where I think me, Hami was in the middle. I think we really enjoyed that time, during the last 20 minutes. Because we were really dominating in the middle.
That one, macam Busquets, Xavi, and Iniesta.
not the biggest and strongest of midfields, but I think we really, I mean, the three of us really controlled the midfield, with our technical abilities, our understanding, because we just have that, like what Hami said, the chemistry between us. It was really fun during that last 20 minutes. That's the only time we managed to get to play with each other, the three of us. Yeah, because Shah has the same mindset also. Yeah.
Yeah, look, I personally, I feel Tampines are really missing him in midfield, man. That fella is a quality player. Shah, I hope you're watching this in camp or wherever you are. Just know that the game is missing you. And we welcome
just know that
you
we are
back
still
soon.
thinking of you.
Hey guys, wait. Saifullah, you brought up a very interesting point about perhaps lacking size. Some might criticize and say not big enough for the international stage. What would the two of you say to that? Hami, we'll start with you.
That's what they say.
I think I have the same mindset. My brother has always instilled this in me. He always told me before I go into matches, he said that I have two hands, they have two hands, I have 2 feet, they have 2 feet. So it doesn't make me any smaller or weaker, So I have to go out there, compensate my size with my physics, which is to go in every challenge that's hard and to win every ball. That's what he always tell me when I was young. So there's always been in my mind before I enter matches, before I go into games. Yep.
Saifullah, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously this has it was a problem for me when especially after NS, when I step up into the first team football, especially at Young Lions. I was struggling with having the thought of not being that big, the disadvantages of not being an average height of a footballer or average size of a footballer. So I even talked to Coach Fandi about it. Like at one point when we were in Thailand, we played Bangkok Glass. No, Bangkok United. Yeah. So
okay.
I didn't had a good game in the first half because I was pushed here and there, and then the physical level of my physical level wasn't there. So after the game, I talked to him, I'm very down about my size and all that. So like he mentioned, take a look at Hami, for example, how hard he goes in and all that. So yeah, I actually looked up to Hami also, he and me are not much different. So I watch most of his games also whenever he plays, the way he goes in and all that, not being afraid. So when I came to LCS, my mindset was to be a hard player as well, to not let that affect me, and it works, So I'm very happy that I overcome that struggle.
I'm laughing because I said this at the start, right? You all got that aggression about you as well. So I use that B word, which I don't know, maybe you're not too happy with, but I mean it in a positive way. Positive way. And because I specifically remember this, I was watching Singapore against Saudi Arabia. I remember Hami giving one to adversary.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that, man. I enjoyed that.
Yeah. So actually Hami has been my idol.
Yeah. Because sometimes
play hard.
Last time, sorry to interrupt, because last time when let's say when I used to play or whatever, a lot of the times younger players used to look up to the older ethnic players and of opposition teams and all that, and be like, abang this, abang that, and then immediately that you are kind of the abang, the senior player, got one step ahead of you already mentally. I always used to appreciate when young players just go out there and just hantam whatever lah. You play ethnic 10 years, 5 years, 10 years, you abang, whatever on the pitch is like, that's it. We're gonna give you on the pitch. After that, can respect, fine.
So on the pitch, 2 hands, 2 legs. Let's play football, right? Like Hami said, right? All is level, what?
Yeah,
guys,
exactly.
Guys, just to round things up, almost. You both have a very long career ahead of you, and we are excited to see how that will progress. When eventually you want to retire, call it a day, what do you want to look back on and think, I have achieved something? What are some milestones you have set for yourself? Before I forget, let's start with Hami.
basically my dream in becoming a football player like Saifullah also, which is to play abroad lah. So that's the one thing that I want to make sure that I achieve before I call it the day lah. And also I want to make sure that I have instill some mentality like some mentality into the younger players when before I call it a day lah. I want to make sure that the younger players carry on the fire in them to make sure that they still making sure that Singapore football is still going far lah. That's what I want to make sure before I retire at the end of the day.
Saifullah?
As for me, is to set an example and to show those younger players that again, I'm going back to the size. It doesn't really matter, because even if you're small, you can play football even at the international stage. So I want to be a player that get regular call-ups in the national team, and then as much as possible play as much minutes in the national team, so that I can prove to the younger ones that you can be this small and you can still be a regular in the national team. So you don't have to worry, and I don't want you to think that between player A and B, the coach might choose B because of the size. So I don't want the younger players to think that way. So that's been my source of motivation to do really well for my football career. Yeah.
Guys, one last thing from me. Dream club you all would like to play for? Saifullah, you start first, and then Hami. Anywhere,
Really?
anywhere.
Realistically,
Doesn't have to
or
be.
just anywhere?
Okay, how about one realistic and one
fair.
achievable? How about that?
Okay.
No, how about one one achievable, one
Dream.
just a dream. Just a dream.
Okay. For me, the just a dream would be Chelsea.
Okay.
Alamak.
Yeah. Not because want to action a bit, not because I am not good enough to play there, but probably the work permit won't be approved.
Okay,
I think so. I think that's correct. That's correct. That's correct. It's the work permit.
It's the work permit lah. So it will be a dream lah. Then the
achievable.
I think would be maybe a club in J-League, maybe any club in J-League. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Any club in
Fantastic.
J-League.
We'd love to see you there. Hami, you had some time to think about it. Your turn.
Confirm Liverpool, I can bet.
No lah. I Arsenal fan lah. But my dream will be
Oh, hey, wait. That means you Arsenal fan means it's achievable, no? No way.
this one.
Because suspended a few games, you can go in, bro.
No,
Okay,
they are the bottom
serious.
also.
But
Okay.
serious, dream will be I think Barcelona lah.
Okay.
Okay.
But achievable one, I think for a start will be somewhere in Thailand.
Okay.
And
Okay.
And also at the end of the day, I think I'll be aiming for the J-League side also.
Well done. Yeah, I'm glad to hear J-League is in your thoughts, man. It's easily one of the best leagues in Asia and maybe even around the world. Fantastic. Yeah.
Guys, just
Okay,
one
Roshan.
last thing before we let you go. We need you to arrow 2 people who you would like to see on our podcast next. Anybody, 2 people in the local football scene who we should go and target for the podcast.
This
Hami,
one,
go first.
this one has to be. This one must be realistic. Don't tell us Frank Lampard, Thomas Tuchel. It's out
But
of
he
our
said
bandwidth.
local. He said local players.
Local. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, go for it, Saifullah.
Hami first, right?
Hami first.
Oh, Hami. Okay, Hami first. Hami
One
first.
name each.
One name each.
Singapore, Sergio Ramos Abdul Kaim.
Abdul, okay. Abdul.
I'll give him his favorite partner, Tajali.
Okay. Abdul and Tajali. Okay. All right, we will get them, guys. It's been fabulous speaking to both of you. We've had so much fun, so much laugh. I can't remember the last time me and Rosh laughed so much during a podcast. Thank you so much.
Brilliant,
and all the best
Thank
for
you.
the upcoming
Thank you, guys.
international
Thank you, guys.
window as well as the rest of the season. Hope to see you all soon.